I think we were the 4th kava bar in the country to open. And then a couple other ones opened up in West Palm. And that's when the Kratom started coming into the scene. You know, there was a couple of kava bars up there where they were putting the Kratom in your kava and not telling you. I've seen at the kava bar, and it's spread, like how fast they turned Kratom into a street drug in Asheville. It's Asheville, the hippie capital of the United States. Kids are buying Kratom by the kilo, cutting it into little dime bags or whatever, and they're selling it on the street. It's not an opiate, but it supposedly binds to the receptors in your brain the same way an opiate would. So when I opened the kava bar in New York, and a friend of mine worked at the head shop around the corner, and I saw that they had like a little section, like one little, like a display, like maybe this big, of Kratom in it. And, you know, then I'd tell her what it was, you know, and people would try it. My friends would try. I'm like, dude, what do you guys? And one day, one of the DJs that worked for me up there, he was messing around with whatever it was, and somebody met him there. The guy that met him was probably like in his early 20s, and he sold, I don't know if you know anything about music, but he sold a Marshall half stack, a bass guitar, the pedals, the cables, the microphone, the mic stand, the carrying cases, everything for $150. So he could go to the head shop and buy a bag of Kratom. I saw it with my own eyes. It's disgusting. I've seen kids trying to stir it into their drinks at these other kava bars, you know, just all cracked out. A lot of the kava bar owners despise me because if you come in and say, hey, do you have Kratom? I'll spend 20 minutes telling you what it is. You're an adult, do whatever you want, but this is what it is. You know, people call on the telephone, and I'll spend 20 minutes on the phone. The amount of people that have had Kratom at the other kava bars and then come in here and then I tell them what it is, they're pissed because that's not what they were told. That's not the way it's presented. You know, and you see like the shock factor in their faces when they look at each other in the group. They're like, oh, you know, like people get weird, you know, oh, they're gonna ban the right for a substance, da 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 da, the DEA, the FDA, whatever it is. I don't think a lot of those laws are to keep us from using them. Those laws are because the people that are gonna sell it to you don't give a shit about you. That's what it is, you know, it's a medicinal plant. But it shouldn't be used recreationally, you know. Doesn't matter, you know, just because it's from the earth doesn't mean it's good for you, you know, because if it was, we could smoke blunts all day and drink crude oil. It's from the earth, you know. It's not the, you know, some things, you know, you're not putting poison ivy in your spring green salad, you know. And that's what it boils down to. It's the education. You know, you're not getting the right education. I've never actually tried Kratom, but I've seen people drink it. You know, I know that it starts as a stimulant, and then I guess depending on the dose that you take, it's kind of, you feel like you're taking an opiate. I've had people that tell me, hey, you know, like you're just talking bad about Kratom because these other kava bars are selling it and that kava bar is your competitor. And I said, go hang out at one of those places and see, you know, and everybody that does that, they come back and they're like, wow, I'm never going to go there again. It's like I'm in an opium den sitting next to a heroin addict. Kava's a root, so you're drying the root, grinding it into a powder and mixing it with water. You can chew on the root by itself to get the similar effects. Kratom, from my understanding, it's a leaf, so it's like like a tea. They dry the leaf. They make a powder out of it. You mix it into your water, you put it into your other drinks. I know that they're doing extracts and stuff like that now, and depending on the strength of the extract is where it goes from, oh, this like mild stimulant to now you're in the opium den chasing the dragon, so to speak.